This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glenn Lavender.
Hi and welcome to episode 490 of Shutters Inc. This is Bruce Williams from shuttersincpodcast.com. And that there on the other end of Skype from Melbourne, Victoria, from creativephotoworkshops.com.au, Mr. Glenn Lavender. How are you?
Hello, future world.
Future
Ever
world?
thought about that? We're talking to the future.
Okay.
Like, this isn't what happens like today and tomorrow and the next day, and that's kind of disappears.
Yeah, I suppose you could
And
say
people
hello
will
from
start
the
to hear
past.
in the future. Well, I'm saying hello to the future, which is kind of like the past saying hello to the. Yeah. It's the same thing, Bruce.
Fair enough.
Hello. So again, hello to the future, and I wonder what future that's going to be.
Yes.
Being that we're recording tonight on election night after the US election's been done during the day.
On the second Halloween of 2020.
Yes, no, on the 2020 of 2020. So it's on the night when the election's up in the air, and yeah, when this podcast comes out, possibly, more than likely, possibly, it's all solved. There'll be a different world, one way or another. You know? And so it's interesting times, Bruce. Interesting times.
Oh, yeah.
Now, tell me, speaking of Bruce's,
Yeah.
do I hear Mr. Springsteen's coming to Australia?
Are you referring to the rumour of him moving to Australia?
I'm moving to Australia. No.
Yeah, so
I just saw a thing saying, what time's his plane land?
Well, he made a comment a couple of weeks ago that if Trump got back in, he was moving to Australia.
There you go.
I think he's going to be eating those words, I think.
Or moving to Australia.
I don't see that happening, but anyway.
What, him moving or him needing to move?
Him moving. We would welcome him with open arms, but I don't see that happening.
I don't know.
But
I just want to move to Canada to get away.
Yeah, I think he's going to be eating his words somehow.
Well, yeah, I think he's going to have to make that choice. Look, I was only joking when I said it. So I think, who knows?
However, I don't know if you saw it while we're on the subject of Springsteen. It came out today in an article on Forbes magazine on their website on Forbes.com that Bruce Springsteen is the first artist in history to have a top 5 album in 6 consecutive decades.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
Because the new album debuted at number 1 in half a dozen countries at least. Top 5 album in every decade of the last 6 decades.
Cool, isn't it?
That's an impressive achievement.
And some bands have actually put out good albums that time as well.
That's harsh. Them's fighting words.
You say your Radiohead have put out like one of the top albums of the decade every decade for the last 3 decades.
Really?
Yeah.
So what, the 90s, the noughties and the teens?
Well, you could go to the 20s.
Oh, okay.
But I mean,
so the noughties, the teens, and the
things
teens.
like Kid A and OK Computer and my brain's just fried. But yeah, another. So I mean, it's okay to release, but I mean, it's a similar kind of stat, I guess. But yeah, some are good albums and the others are Bruce ones. Speaking of music, though, Bruce, I've been pondering this all day. Right?
Yeah.
Deserts are often big, often dry.
Yeah.
Filled with cactus and stuff, depending where you go.
Oh well, yeah, depending on the desert.
If you're journeying through a desert, you assume it's a long period of time.
Yeah.
If are you
riding on a horse with no name?
Well, if you're going along by yourself, with no one else, you're probably likely to want to talk to anything that's living as well, and you are on said horse with no name,
right?
You would think after like a couple of days of journeying, you'd at least give it like a pet name.
You would think so.
I mean, it's pretty inhumane.
Yeah.
to travel with a companion who's basically saving your life.
Yes, a beast of burden.
And not even given a name. He might have started. Okay, I can accept that he got it and that no one knew what his name was. Horse's name, don't know, but you can have it. Yeah, I can accept that. But I can't accept that he's continued on. And what kind of heartless soul is this? Who continues on for days and just doesn't go, hey, Roger. I'll call you Roger. There you go.
Oi, you with the long face.
It's just, it doesn't, it really spoils the song for me.
There you go. So how has your week been?
Have
you been gallivanting?
No.
Okay.
Well, we still can't go more than 25k, so there's only so much advancing that you can
veritable epic journey compared to the last 3 months.
It is, but when you go out, you realise, well, there's not really much point. If you can't go to the places that you actually want to go to, right, but you just go for the sake of going,
right?
It's kind of no, not much. Been to the shops, been to the hardware store a few times.
Yep.
But actually turned myself into a tiny bit of a man today.
Oh yeah.
I changed the ceiling fan in the girls' bathroom.
As in, you removed an old fan and put a new one in?
Removed it and replaced a new one, yeah.
Nice work.
By myself. Watched one YouTube video. Went up to the shops, got the stuff, came back.
I was going to ask, are you a licensed electrician?
Well, here's the thing. They're plug and play.
Oh, okay.
They just plug into normal power points. So it's basically just go and unscrew 3 screws, pull it out, unplug the power point.
Oh, wow.
Put in your new one. Well, that's not true. Plug it in, put in the new one, tighten up those 3 screws. Done.
Wow. Oh, okay.
5-minute turnover. The hardest part is trying to have your arm through the hole in the ceiling, trying to find which way the damn plug goes to get the holes into the plug thing.
Yep.
Yeah. In the dark, back with bits of fluff from the ceiling falling down on your face, while standing precariously on top of a ladder in a shower basin.
Oh,
yeah, which of course could be wet and slippery.
Yeah,
So there was some challenges.
A ladder.
That's quite
how upmarket of you.
I know. And so that's inspired all sorts of other potential things I could, Now I want to take down the whole kit, the whole shower surrounds. I watched a video on that. It's a bit harder. It's not just 3 screws and a power plug.
No,
a bit of work involved in that. So I kind of gave up on that pretty quickly. Problem is, you say, I'll just do this one thing. And then you go, but to do that one thing, I've got to move that one thing. And then to move that one thing, I've got to change that one. And everything you might have to move and change can produce more problems.
Yeah.
So it's like,
before you know it, you're bulldozing the house and starting again.
Pretty much. If we set it on fire, honey, maybe we can claim the insurance. Sure, shit, not put this back together. I'm really good at taking things apart. I'm not real good at putting things back
together.
So I've done a lot of gardening. A lot of gardening. That's right, clearing a whole big expansive area all the way for a planned garden layout thingy. We're kind of getting our thoughts around.
And how are the strawberries coming along?
Oh, the strawberries are still alive.
Cool.
That's pretty good. So I've got them up. I've got them hanging up in a tree.
That'll fool them.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing, though. I heard a great trick about strawberries. Okay, if you're planting them in the ground and you're worried about birds, before the fruit starts to show up and flower and change colour and whatever, lay down a whole bunch of red pebbles.
Yeah.
And the birds come down to pick the pebble and go, that's not food, and go away.
Yep.
So when the real strawberries come up, they think it's fake.
Nice.
Supposedly it works. I don't know. Got some flowers on the tomato plants.
Cool.
So that's good. So that's another little growth. I put in some what do you call that stuff? Not scaffolding.
Like a trellis.
A trellis for the snow peas to grow up.
Yep.
They've been going well. Yeah. Got some oregano and some sage and planted that.
Yeah, I've got oregano growing. It's great.
Yeah, I'm looking for a nice mint now. Yeah.
Yep.
I found a mint that I like. But I've been spending a lot of time in the garden. Then we've been out the back. Now it's actually habitable. The girls playing basketball. Out there having food. It's lovely.
Excellent.
Cracking some beers and sitting outside, and I'll put up some lovely solar little lights as well.
Cool.
Little just globes, but on a long rope kind of thing, and along the garage, along the veranda area wall, and they glow at night beautifully.
Nice.
Put up a pendant, not candelabra, but chandelier kind of thing.
Oh, yep.
I've been busy.
Excellent.
Except it takes 5 globes.
Right.
Yeah. Me and the missus shop for it. We bought 5 globes. Yeah. But we bought and they're the filament ones. We bought warm glow.
Yep.
Warm glow, And we bought 5, but it's supposed to be screw mount, and of the 5 we bought only 3.
Oh, no.
That wasn't very good. Turned out there were 2 warm. It was like a bit like candlelight.
Right.
So we're going to keep those for special occasions.
Okay.
So I went and bought some halogen ones. This time 4 of the 5 was only, so one better than last time. Put those on. It was like a nuclear explosion.
Oh, right.
It's like don't look at it. It's like watching the solar eclipse. You burn out your retina. So they're a bit on the extreme side. So I went out and bought one more globe. I'm experimenting with warm white.
Right. Yep.
And they're bright, but they're much more genteel on the eyes.
Nice.
So I've had a big week, Bruce. I've done nothing, but I've had a big week. I've got a big talk on for Tamron next week, next Tuesday, and it's now, Wednesday, going into Thursday. I haven't started it yet.
Right.
Possibly get on with the... except I'm homebound again.
Why?
For the next 2 weeks.
Why this time?
Well, potentially, because my eldest has a cold or sniffles and sore throat.
How did she get that?
Well, she went back to school, of course.
Oh, that'll do it. Yeah.
And so she's sick, so therefore the other one has to stay home because they can't go. It took the eldest one down to get vid tested today.
Yep.
And now we're waiting for the results. And even if the results are negative, they say you should isolate for 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah.
God. So we'll see what the results say. If the results are negative, I'm not sure I'll be sitting around for 2 weeks doing nothing.
Yeah.
That does it. We are 5 days of 0 cases. The chances of catching it seems fairly remote. So
are you any closer to getting up and running with your workshops again?
No, nothing till next year at least.
Oh, okay.
This is no hope. I mean, there's not allowed to do any of those sort of in-person multiple household stuff.
Oh, okay.
At the moment, you're allowed to visit one household with X amount of people in it once a day, and then nobody else for the rest of the day. And the household you visit aren't allowed to see anyone else for the rest of the day. Right. And as long as they're within a 25-kilometre radius. Yeah. Yeah, so there's no way I'm going to be holding a workshop with, say, 6 people from 6 different households in a room. No. It's just not going to happen. No. You know? So I'm not even... But I've got some one-on-one days I'll be coming up with for a guy down Geelong. Okay. The next couple of weeks, it's part of the NDIS scheme, National Disability Scheme, where they're helping train him in other skills. Yeah, cool. So I might do some one-on-ones coming up towards the end of the year, get a bit of Christmas spending money. Yep. Or just some money at all. It's been a long time. But so they've got this big... so on next Monday night in America, I think it is, and next Tuesday morning... So the 10th of October and the 11th... So not November. 10th of November, the 11th of November. I'm doing a talk for Tamron. Just check those dates out. No, it's Tuesday and Wednesday. There you go. I've still got a week. I've got a couple more days before I need to start. Don't I? Don't have to start straight away. Why rush? Plenty of time. I'll be doing it the night before, you know that, don't you? Yeah. So yeah, doing it. It's only an hour and a half talk, so how hard could that be to put together? Tamron, I'll be on their Tamron USA page, and there'll be live streaming me waffling on for things I don't even know what I'm going to talk about yet. So that should be easy to put together. Fantastic. It will be on travel. I'm trying to think of some different ways of saying the same stuff. Yep. And some ways of saying different stuff that I've never said before.
Right.
No.
Well, however you say it, it'll be new. Because you've never said it before.
New to you, if you haven't heard it before. So kind of good. And how's your week been? Has it been good? Has it been fabulous?
I sold the Triumph.
What? Oh, I thought you sold the new one. Yes, to the guy from Dan Whoop Whoop.
Yeah, down in Nowra, yeah.
Nice.
So here's the thing. He reached out to me middle of last week and said, can I come up and have a look at it on the weekend? And we eventually settled on Sunday morning. Sunday morning, I wake up. It's clear blue skies. I'm thinking, you beauty. And about half an hour before he arrived, the clouds had moved in, and by the time he arrived, it was bucketing with rain.
Oh, God.
And so he arrived, and honestly, I think he had talked himself into the deal before he even got there.
Really?
He was so keen, he was so pumped, he knew pretty much as much about the bike as I did, because he'd been doing so much research online, and he was saying about how he'd been on the lookout for one of this model because there's so few of them around, they don't come up very often.
Oh, really?
And he said, I'm not bothered by, the fact that it's got 140,000 Ks on it. He said, to me, that tells me it's a good bike to ride. He said, when I see...
The way you can convince yourself to anything if you want
I know. He said, because he said...
1 million kilometres! Oh, shows you must have loved it.
He said, when you see bikes online, that have only got, 10,000 Ks on them, he said, I tend to think, well, either they didn't ride it long enough to learn what was wrong with it, or they've worked out what's wrong with it and they can't stand it. He said, if I see something with 140,000 Ks on it, he said, obviously you've liked it because you've ridden it that much. So, yeah, so he didn't test ride it because of the rain.
Wow.
But he just said, look, can I give you 500 cash now and I'll organise a day through the week to, come and pick it up? And I said, yeah. I said, look, that's fine. I said, I tell you what, I said, I can probably save you half a trip. I said, if you tell me the night before what day you want to do it, I said, I can ride it to work at North Sydney, and then you've only got to come as far as North Sydney and you can pick the bike up and ride it from there. And he went, oh, that'd be great. So Tuesday was a great day yesterday, clear skies. So, he came to the studio and picked up the bike and handed me a bank check and off he went. And I was really surprised as he was riding off. I was like, I'm never going to see that bike again.
I got a bit emotional.
I was. And that kind of surprised me. I was not expecting that.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm kind of over it now. I'm just,
of course. It's a fleeting moment of humanity.
Yeah, but it was... Yeah, just kind of caught me by surprise. So he's happy, I'm happy, and So onward and upward. So that's a third of the Yamaha is now paid off, which is great.
Nice.
So,
it's funny. It's funny how people convince themselves to buy stuff, though, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, goodness.
So that's kind of been the highlight of my week. Other than the box which I have sitting on the desk right beside me, and it sounds like this, like that. That is a big box. Well, it's not really a big box. I'll just tell you what it is. It's a Nodal Ninja.
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. So I reached out to the local importer / distributor for Fanatec, who make the Nodal Ninja. And for those who don't know what a Nodal Ninja is...
Including me.
Okay, it is a specialised bracket that you mount on top of your tripod, and you mount your camera onto this bracket. And what it allows you to do is position the nodal point of your lens directly above the center column of your tripod, so that when you are doing multi-image panos, the nodal point, which is the part of the lens where the light rays cross over, is directly over the rotational axis. And so you minimize what's called parallax error, which comes from shooting multi-image panos and having items that are in a straight line appearing to be in a straight line in one frame, but appearing to be offset on the two frames either side of that.
Does it affect objects in the rearview mirror?
Boom, boom. That's a good question. I don't know. So anyway, so I said to this guy, I said, look, I've got this YouTube channel. I said, this is what I do. I do these tutorials on Darktable. I said, I've had all of my well, not all of my viewers, but a bunch of my viewers asking me to do a video on how I shoot my multi-image panos and then how I stitch them and how I post-process them and all that sort of stuff. And I said, I started making notes on what I was going to do this video, and I thought to myself, if I'm going to do this, I really should do it properly. I said, and I don't own a Nodal Ninja, and I was wondering if you could lend me one so that I can, discuss what they do and how they work and why they're advantageous for people who want to get right into them, into shooting panos. And so he's sent me a brand new one in a box. So I've got to put it together, and then I've got to feature it in my video. And he said if I want to keep it, he'll give it to me at stock price. And
wow, generous of him.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's
if someone said that to me, I'd say, sure, I'll do an honest review then, shall I? So how cheap was that stock price? Sorry.
Yeah, well, he hasn't told me that. I think they retail for about $400. So.
Hey, Louise.
Yeah. So anyway,
you'd want to do a lot of panos, wouldn't you?
You would, yes. You would want to be doing it a lot. Yeah, definitely.
I was looking at an outdoor barbecue, like console setup. Yeah, with it's got like a fridge. It's got like cupboards and a sink and everything else.
It's basically an outdoor kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah, $6,000.
Yeah.
And that's before you plumb in the water and the electricity. Right? You don't plumb in the electricity, just so you know.
And the gas.
And the gas. And so, you're talking some serious... I'm thinking, how many meals how much are each of those meals going to cost for the foreseeable future,
Well, I guess there are some people who prefer to do their cooking outside the house so that you don't have the house smelling of cooked meat.
I would love it myself, but it's still...
It's a big investment.
It's a bit, I mean, you don't want to be the sort of person who's forever doing that sort of cooking.
Yeah.
To really warrant that sort of expense.
You would want to be doing it at least 2, if not 3 nights per week.
I think. Absolutely. And then, even then, let's say do 3 nights a week for a year.
Yep.
That's 150 nights. 150 nights, times that by 3 years is 400. Let's say 4 years, that's 600 nights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Each of those nights has cost you $10 at least.
In what?
That's $6,000.
Oh, okay, right, yes, absolutely.
So 3 nights a week for 4 straight years, and you're still at $10 a use. I mean, so I was working out a cost per use factor, you know. But I learned this from my wife, and she justified the price of her shoes. It's not how much the shoes cost; it's cost per use. If I wear them every day for a year, it's 356 cents. It's like $1. It's like a dollar
a day,
50 cents a shoe.
When you put it like that,
exactly, it sounds cheap. So even then, after 4 years of using it 3 nights a week, it's going to be and it's outdoors. Yeah. It's going to start looking pretty darn ratty and start thinking about upgrading.
Yeah.
So, but then again, if you're feeding 4 people, it's only $2.50 a meal.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh God! But it was very nice, though, I got to say. It was. I've got this whole wall I could put on perfectly.
Nice.
No, it's never going to happen. Never going to happen. But still. Anyway, so it's been nice chatting. Let's do this again another time.
Yeah. What do you got to talk about photography-wise?
Oh, I don't think I've got anything of any interest. Anyway, let's say I've got some. Twaddle. I saw a top 20 today that had nothing to do with photography, but in the vein of and by our, I mean my, dislike for top 20s, I thought I'd mention it.
Right.
I saw the top 20 Hamilton songs from the stage show Hamilton.
Oh, no.
But here's the thing: there's only 22 songs.
I was going to say, how many songs are there
in the whole
there?
thing, and I don't think they're all like full songs either. Like the bits.
Why didn't they just do the 2 worst songs in Hamilton? Make that a list. Make that a list.
These ones, why bother? I mean, or at the very least, we rate each Hamilton song, because that kind of at least that way you've got a structured order. But
maybe the two worst songs from Hamilton is the companion blog post to go with the top 20 Hamilton songs.
The my kids are mad for Hamilton. Just
are they?
They're constantly rapping all the bloody lyrics to the damn thing. It's just right. So to the point where we have to come up to Sydney next year to see it.
Right.
When it's if this world opens up and doesn't collapse in on itself.
Yep. Kath and Max are going to go and see it.
Yeah. My mate Roger Sakala.
Yeah.
He's the guy who owns Lens Rentals, who is probably the most. If you ever had to listen to anybody on the planet about the true state of reliability of products, how much one brand's better or worse than others, etc., all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Roger's your man, because he disassembles and he has thousands of units on rent all the time. So he understands full breakdown rates and reliability and all that stuff. But anyway, he did a really cool article on the difference between sample variation and bad copies. People always complain, I got a bad copy of my Tamron or my Sigma or my Nikon or my Canon lens, whatever.
Right.
And he's basically saying, twaddle. There ain't, the chance of you getting a bad copy is fairly low, but a sample variation is quite high.
Right.
Because, no 2 lenses are the same. And he goes into really good detail. This is only part 1. Really good detail about how variations and why there's variations. I thought if anyone's interested in that sort of stuff,
right.
I wasn't, so I didn't bother reading it.
And I would imagine that quality control would pick up most of the major deficiencies before they even left the factory, wouldn't it?
Well, you're assuming there's quality control.
Oh, there's got to be some description.
Does there?
Yeah,
Isn't it easier? Isn't it easier and cheaper to ship everything out and then deal with the breakdowns later?
Well, I guess it depends on the severity of the deficiency.
Well, it depends, but I'd right there. The cost efficiency wise, it's cheaper to send them all out and have the end user find the mistakes.
Right.
And then I'm not saying this happens, but this is the way my brain thinks.
Yeah, I can see where you're
send
going.
Out 100,000 units, and of the 60 or 100 that's going to be faulty, they can tell us.
Yeah.
Because why should we rig up $1 million machine to test them as they go through for such a small percentage when they're going to tell us anyway if it doesn't work?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
The only time you probably don't want to do that is if you have like a 20 or 30% failure rate on stuff, because you're managing your end users gets very expensive very quickly too. But
which is why I come back to there must be some level of quality control at the point of manufacture, because if your failure rate is that high, and I use the term failure rate loosely, but if there are deficiencies or inconsistencies in the product coming off the production line, then you need to nip that in the bud pretty quickly.
But you assume that there is. I'm saying that stuff is so well built these days and so precision built with computers and technology
and robotics.
The percentage of obvious faults that an inspection would pick up is fairly low.
Right.
I would think. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they might have someone doing a visual scan, make sure that lens somehow didn't get scraped by a piece of machinery or whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But as far as is it out of focus by 0.2 of a millimeter compared to the next one behind it?
Yeah.
That's going through. You're going to get those copies where the things like focus and back focus and forward focus and all the other stuff, variations from lens to lens is going to happen.
Yeah, right.
I remember back in the early 80s, we used to sell a brand of lens called Flexar, which was by Fletcher's Photographics was the name of the company, and their own brand name was Flexar. And I can't remember who we bought them from. I think it was Macanon or something. I can't remember what no-name brand we bought the lenses from.
Yeah,
and
right.
had the brand of Flexar. But out of every 10 80 to 200 lens, which are all pretty average, there'd be one spanking good one. One way, there's no way it should be this good lens. You know? So we would, if we wanted to buy a lens, we would put a roll of 36 in, and we'd open up 36 of these damn lenses and shoot a frame with each one, find the cracker, put the rest back and sell them to people.
Oh, that's shocking.
We laughed and laughed and laughed. Oh, the things we did, Bruce, the things we did, the things we saw, the photos people would bring in. Oh, my God. I was thinking about this week, that one of the funniest things that ever happened to me was I was working in a store, this very, very attractive girl came to pick up her photos.
Yeah.
And I handed them to her. I was sort of waiting for her to pay. And as a lot of people do, they'll pull the photos out of the envelope to check, make sure they're theirs, or whatever. And she's flicking through them, and all her having sex with someone, like full-on graphic, nothing hidden. And not playing, and she's putting them down the counter, face up, whilst looking at him. And I'm sitting there going, I'm like 17. Just, oh my God. And then we had this one guy who used to come in every week. He was the most perverted, I think he'd been banned from every store going around.
Right.
And we hadn't got around to banning him yet, but we ended up doing so.
Yeah.
But his photos were so bad, and we so badly didn't want him to keep coming back. We'd go down to the fish and chip shop, buy like $1 worth of chips, get our fingers and rub and so get all the grease all over our fingers, and put our greasy fingers all over his photos. So they're all smeared and gunky when he came to collect them. Yeah. Every week. Oh, my God. But as a 16 or 17-year-old boy, I learned some things about the human anatomy I didn't think was possible. I didn't know you put a sword up there on the other man. Oh, my goodness. And, Bruce, the stuff he's... Oh, my God. And he was around for years. He was years and years and years. Then the 1 hour lab showed up. Yeah. The 1 hour. And you could always tell when porn was going through the 1 hour lab, because all stores were so proud that they finally got the ability not to take 10 days to develop photos.
Yeah.
They had this machine in store. Then they put it in the front window for all to see the photos coming out. And he'd be walking up towards your store, maybe coming back from lunch. And if there's a queue of like 20 or 30 people, like all crowd around the window, someone's porn was going through. Never happened any other time, but the amount of times it happened, God.
That's classic.
Oh, man. No anonymity there, I tell you. And of course, all labs used to keep spares. Yeah.
Spare what?
So any of the good photos, they just print an extra copy.
Oh, right.
Every store I worked in had albums full of people's photos.
Oh, no.
You can see why the Polaroid was so popular.
Yeah.
But you'd sit there at lunchtime, and they'd be on the lunch table, in the staff lunchroom, and people just sit there and flick through. Oh, what's the latest editions? Oh, look at this one. Dear. Anyway, back to lenses being faulty. If it's a thing that's of interest to you, check it out. It's always great value.
Cool.
Now, I did see an interesting thing from Kodak, and that's not something you say every day.
Not these days, no.
Not for a long time. But Kodak's got I think it's a new piece of software coming out, an AI software that auto-culls your images.
Okay.
So let's say you've been to a wedding.
Yeah.
And you've shot 4,000, the average photography these days, 47,000 photos of the wedding.
Yep.
Yeah. The last thing you want to do is sort the damn things. This software goes through, looks at whenever there's like multiples similar, and can analyse which ones have the eyes open, which ones have a best focus, which ones compositionally a little bit more. And they don't delete the other ones, but they kind of shunt the good ones into one folder and the not quite so good ones into a secondary folder.
Yeah, right.
So it's kind of like going through Lightroom yourself quickly, 5-star rating, and then going back and 4-star. But this basically goes through and gives you the best of your entire event,
Yeah,
and
nice.
then when there's gaps missing in that, you then go back into the secondary folder and look at, well, how do I fill in? Which is what I would used to do back on days of shooting weddings. You go through, you do all your 5 stars, your 4 stars, and dump it, and then you go through and you put your story together, and you go, okay, I've got gaps here, here, and here. Then you go start looking at your 3-star stuff and your 2-star, and then your zeros.
Yeah, right.
You got to put what you got to put in to fill the story sometimes. But this kind of would simplify an awful lot of that kind of work, which I think is pretty clever. So once again, if anyone is interested in that, it's pretty cool.
And so, is it Mac and PC or?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look that far into the article. I don't even know if it does what I just said it does. But you're asking too many questions here now.
Let me have a look. Take a tour. Our story, the buzz. Try it today. Here, let's click on try it today and see what it comes up with.
It's actually even already.
Oh, don't tell me it's going to be a web-based service. Oh, it is. You've got to log in. It must be a web-based service.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's even better, in fact.
I guess.
You know, if you think about it, you're shooting the wedding. It's uploading as you're shooting to the into their portal.
Right.
You get home, wake up the next morning, they're already done. You don't have to upload them, don't have to put them on a computer, they're all done.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay, so system requirements, Windows 10 or Mac OS Mojave, so 10.14.4 or newer. Will support DNG, JPEG, RAW, TIFF, CRW, CR2, CR3, RAF, 3FR, FFF, ARW, KDC, pretty much every RAW format out there. And $29.95, presumably that's American, per month, or $300 per year. Cool.
Oh, once again, for a business.
Yeah. Or, as you say, for a working
if you have
photographer.
that ability to be able to, like sports photographers do, stream straight up to it onto the cloud or whatever.
Yeah,
it could be once again, time's money. It could be a massive time saver, and away you go. You know,
absolutely.
Cool. That's that one.
Nice. I'd like to break into the podcast briefly to mention that we now have a Patreon account. If you get any value at all from our photographic giggle fest each week, we'd really appreciate it if you could spare a couple of bucks a month just to help keep the servers running. The link will be in the show notes. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast. It's all made up.
Bull Twiggy.
We're going to the next one. Okay.
Oh, no, that's all made up. That's right. Lindsay Adler.
She is great. I follow her on Instagram.
She's pretty darn good, the old Lindsay Adler. But she's got a new reality series called the Concept Challenge. And basically, it's come out with a concept, and they get some makeup people and some photographers and some models. They're going to work to a certain time limit and see who nails the challenge best.
Oh, nice.
I'm assuming I haven't looked at it. But looking at the couple of example photos, they look pretty cool, and I'm assuming that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that'd be a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So I like to say
her Instagram stuff is amazing.
Yeah, I sent it off to Wendy, my body painter, because I thought she'd enjoy watching something like that, because that'd be right up her alley as well. So,
yeah, for sure.
So that's worth having a look at. My next one's called Bull Twiggy.
Right.
And this is because I'm Peter Pixel. Photographer declares Nikon Z6 II the go-to for weddings and events.
Oh, might be for him.
Well, yeah, and also, all cameras are the same. But the example photo, he's got the horizon going straight through the heads.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm not taking your advice, just based on the picture.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take your advice.
Yeah.
Because the shot's crap, you know? And obviously, he's arrived at this location by helicopter.
Yeah.
The bride and groom, they've flown in by helicopter. He's done, and the best you can come out with is a poorly composed shot that makes it look like you're looking down on them.
Yep.
You've minimised it. You've got these pine trees, these two pine, look like half-sized Christmas trees next to them.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like you're shooting down on them from the top of a hill, and the sea and the mountain or the landscape in the background goes straight through their heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all I can see is this epic sky that if you got down low and shot wide...
And use some fill flash.
That would have a lot of majesty to that shot.
Yep.
And all I see is a crap shot. I said, yeah, well, if this is the result it's giving, it's not much of a go for the Z6.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe it's not the Z6 that's the fault.
Yeah. No.
So I'm just going to say, don't believe anything people say.
No, but I've got to say, like, the moment I see a heading like that, I think, well, okay, it works for the guy who wrote the article, and that's fine. Like, I'm not saying that it's not the greatest camera for him, but it doesn't mean it's the greatest camera for everyone.
I just don't see. That's the problem with Peter Pixel and D Preview and all those other ones. Is they allow anybody to write shit up there. Anyone can come up with a top 10 list.
That's right.
We should do it. We should do the annual top 10 list of top 10s
That's it.
and put it on DP Review. Our top 10 of top 10s.
That's right.
Because 10 and 10 and 10 and 10 is 20 and 20.
Right.
So what I did there? 20 and 20.
Absolutely.
That works. That works, Bruce. It works. That's gold.
Excellent.
I couldn't be asked, but is the heading I put for this one?
Yeah.
Here we are. Photographer blends his model stories with BT. I don't know. It blends his model stories with BTS lighting setups. I don't know what that even means.
Well, BTS is behind the scenes.
I know what that means, Bruce. What I don't know is what blending his model story with his BTS means. So when I clicked on for the only reason that I want to see this model telling a story, and in the photo you can also see all the lights, because that's what the headline makes sense. And I couldn't be asked reading when it wasn't that,
Right.
because it wasn't that. But he's got some nice lighting,
Yeah.
and he's got some good diagrams.
Yeah.
And I would recommend anyone who's wanting to learn lighting, is you print out this article, cut out all the words, and shred those ones.
And just keep the pictures.
Keep the photo and the diagram
Yeah.
in a little book. And you go, okay, I'd like to try this one today.
I can't remember the name of the software, but Joe Edelman uses the same piece of software that does those overhead lighting diagrams. And you basically just drag and drop the icons for different light types and camera
I
types.
used to use it too. I just can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting to learn to try lighting techniques,
Yep.
print out the article, cut the photo out, the lighting diagram out, stick them both together, and you go, okay, I want to try this type of lighting, and it'd be a really good, because the photos are lovely, the lighting's lovely.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why you have to go through all the palaver of trying to make it sound grander than it actually is. But I've been called a cynic, so I don't know. Yeah, so possibility. 5 days of shop.
Yeah.
There's 5 days of free Photoshop training coming up.
Potato shop.
By top pros. Starting, what's the date today, Bruce?
The 4th.
Starting the 9th of November. So what date does this come out?
This will come out on about that.
About the 10th?
6th, 7th, 8th.
Oh, that's right. Starting tomorrow, people. If you're listening today, it's tomorrow. As long as today is Sunday, and as long as that's November the 8th.
And that's Sunday in Australia.
5 days. You can watch it. You can watch it live, free, and you can watch them for 48 hours after the event for free.
Right.
And then after that, it's like $145 US.
Right.
But if you're wanting to upscale your Photoshop skills, there you go.
I would say anyone who wants to, get quality Photoshop advice for nothing would be check out the YouTube channel of Deke. Oh, what's his last name? He was a Linda author. Deke McClelland. Deke does some amazing stuff with Photoshop.
Does he?
And he puts a lot of it on YouTube as well. So, yeah.
What kind of stuff? Is he a landscaper? Is he a portraiter?
He's more into the, doing amazing post-processing, whether it's masks or...
So is it landscapes or portraits, though?
Bit of everything.
Okay.
Bit of everything.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dirk McClelland.
Deke.
McClelland.
Deke McClelland. Yeah, I'll try and find a link to his...
Find a link, Bruce. Put some effort in.
I didn't know
You've
about
got
it
from now
until
till
30
Sunday.
seconds ago.
We're even recording a day early, so you've got an extra day to find the info, Bruce.
That's right.
Yes. You're not being asked to do too much. I've committed an extra early night for you. You can put 2 minutes of effort in and find out your bloody link.
There you go.
Right. So where are we up to? Your stuff.
I found 4 stories that I added to the rundown for tonight. The first one was ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, used a Canon 5D Mark III and a Nikon 28mm lens to shoot space scenes for The Mandalorian. And I was having a quick look at the blog post and the associated video just before we started recording. The video runs for about 17 minutes, and if you're a Star Wars fan, it's just 17 minutes of complete and utter geekery. But it's really cool just talking about how they wanted to create a particular type of spaceship for the new season of The Mandalorian, and talked about the thought process of what the ship should look like. And then they decided, well, how are we going to create that for the show? And they ended up going back to old school techniques of actually creating a physical model of it and going through all the process of how they created the metallic texture for it and how they then lit it and how they shot it. And yeah, it's just really cool just seeing how they're, green screening or blue screening this static model and rotating it in front of the camera to get the flyby angles and all that sort of stuff, and then incorporating that into a video editor and then compositing a star field and planets and all that sort of stuff behind it. Yeah, it's really cool. So
I just don't know why they'd go to the effort of a Nikon lens on a Canon camera.
No, I couldn't.
What was
get that either.
specifically different about that Nikon lens?
Yeah.
That made the effort, or I don't know.
No idea.
It baffles.
It does. The next thing was the Siena Awards of 2020. This is a set of photographic awards, and I just put this in because I like to find at least one nice portfolio of images to include each week, and these were the award winners from the Siena Awards for 2020. And the winner of the overall prize was an image called Frozen Mobile Home, and it shows an iceberg.
Let me guess, it's a mobile home that's been frozen in ice?
That's right. It's an iceberg with a family of crab-eater seals swimming around it. And there's 4 of the seals in the shot, and it's taken, only a couple of meters below the surface. But yeah, great image. And there's a whole bunch of other images on this blog post that are, worth having a flick through. There's some good stuff there. So
nice.
Yeah. Next one, that Tamron lens, the one that I borrowed.
Oh yeah.
The 28 to 200 2.8 to f5.6.
That's the one.
It has absolutely cleaned up. With the awards.
With the Grand Gold Prize.
Yes.
Digital Cameras and Magazine, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Okay. So, it won the Grand Gold Prize, which I thought was pretty cool, because, I was very impressed with the lens.
It took the Gold Prize for the 70 to 180 as well.
Yeah.
Well, it's good because it's so versatile. It adds something that not everyone else has got on the market, so it kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. No, I was very impressed with that lens, so it's good to see that, other people have valued it as highly.
Yes, it's unprecedented for super zooms.
Is this the 28-200 or the 70 to 180?
Well, 70 to 180 is not a super zoom. So
right, okay.
Super zoom means like a 28 to 200, 28 to 4 million.
Right, okay. And the last one was another collection of images, 35 beautiful examples of light painting photography. And I included this, Glenn, because it's broken up into all different sections, and there's a section specifically devoted to pointing your torch at the sky.
Oh, I thought you pointed because the first one says, I love you.
Yeah.
Which is just, what's the point? Doesn't every 4-year-old kid with a sparkler do that?
Pretty
why
much.
is that winning a prize? Love hearts. For God's sake, people.
Yeah. So anyway.
So
What?
Beautiful example of light painting. Someone's done a love heart with a sparkler with a crappy building behind it, Bruce.
Yes.
How the hell is that a beautiful example?
I don't
Who puts
know.
this crap photo artist, who puts this crap together? I'm sure there's even one even decent looking image there.
Well,
Okay, so
the one with the halo around the tower,
No.
which we know was done with a drone.
Yeah, every Tom, Dick and Larry's done that, so that's nothing interesting. The one below it, though, is good.
Yes, the flowers.
Tulips. The
Yep.
tulips.
Yep.
Yeah, some delicate light painting. The one below that's good.
Yep.
With the he's actually lighting and
The
putting
book and the
those
candle.
up to create that window pattern as well.
Yep.
Some guy standing on a bridge spinning sparks. Some guy standing in front of a thing spinning sparks
No,
ain't nothing.
yeah.
Some guy standing with an anonymous mask under an umbrella having sparks spun on him. No.
Further down, there's
somebody
some
standing in the
silhouettes which are
ice.
good.
Oh, that's crap. That's
Some of the
crap.
silhouettes were clever.
I like the green one with all the weird ass squiggles and you can't see the person's face. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Squiggles don't do squat for me.
No.
Yeah, silhouettes are good. Yeah. The one of the woman's like blowing the squirrely gwirly lines out. It's probably the best. The next one's garbage. Boring. Where we go? No, the Milky Way. No. Where's the torch? There's 3 torches in one. No,
There you go.
It's got shine a flashlight at the sky, and this one's got 3 of them in it, so it's 3 times as good as the next one.
That's
which
right.
only has 1.
That's right.
You know? And this guy with the aurora, his flashlight hasn't even got a shaft of light going up to the aurora.
I
You
know.
call that a torch?
No effort at all.
What kind of crappy torch do you call that? Everything else is pretty much garbage. In my non-opinion,
Esteemed opinion.
Yeah.
I knew you'd love it.
Right. Well, that positive note.
All right.
Dear.
Well, I guess that does it for another week.
Yes, I'm going to think about what next handyman jobs I can get myself into.
Are you buying shares in Bunnings? I think you need to.
Tell you what, a bit nuts. I've got some light fixtures to change over, but not the actual electrical bits, just the shades themselves.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, so I should be able to manage that without killing myself.
Excellent.
But
Yeah, I think you need to buy shares in the company, mate.
Tell you what, unbelievable. Well, this has been a real time, and it'll be another real time next week, I'm sure.
Another hour of your life you won't get back.
Yeah, me or the listeners, or both.
Both.
So the worst thing is you've got to listen to it more than once.
That's right.
Shit. That's a sucker for punishment.
I suffer for my art.
At least the listeners can listen at 1.5 speed.
That's
Maybe we
right.
gave them that idea last week.
That's it.
All right.
That's it.
Who knows?
Maybe I should just release it like that all the time. 1.5x.
Give them the options, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
All right,
mate.
mate. Have a good one.
I will. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. It was
Bye.
lovely talking at you. And talk to you next week.
Shutters Inc.
Another AudioToYou.com quality podcast.
For questions, comments, and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.